Welcome, I'm Billy. This is video number 9 of FreeCAD for absolute beginners, woodworking. Yeah, FreeCAD from a woodworking perspective. And today we're going to model a milking stool. Let me pull that up and show you that. It's just something I found out of a woodworking book. It's a replica of, I guess, an antique milking stool. Let's go ahead and get into it. Well, let me show you the dimensions of it today. Technically, it's 3 sketches that we have to draw, but it's going to be a total of 6 parts. So you can see the top of the stool there is kind of oblong, oval, I should say. And then you got your 4 legs, and then there's an intersection or interface piece shown in a hidden line there that you have to build. That would be right there underneath the stool. It's slotted so you can add the legs to it. Okay, here we go. It's open. We're going to go to parametric part. Open that. I'm going to do a save as here, and we're going to call it the milking stool. Save that. And then this body here is going to get named to a part. Let me look. We have three pieces we are modeling, and then we're going to do a clone or a copy of the legs. So we got a top, a leg, and a support. Let me add 2 more bodies right here. 1, 2. Got 2, so we got a total of 3. We'll rename this to the top. All caps. Top. Rename this body here to that is going to be, I'll just call it a leg. And then this body here, they call it a support. I call it a interface piece, but I guess it's kind of the same thing. Rename that to what they call it, support. And there we go. Start with the top. Double click there. It's now when I double clicked it, it becomes an active body. I'm going to do the sketch, and I'm going to double click on the XY plane since we'll be looking down at the top of the stool. Might as well go ahead and use that plane. I'm going to roll my wheel and back out a little bit, and I'm going to look at the dimensions. Instead of pulling it up on the screen, I'm just going to use my book here to walk through it. So it's an oval that is 11 1/4 one way, and let me see, it's roughly, let me see, we got 7, yeah, we got 2 5-inch radiuses, and then we got another radius, 10 inches. All right. All right, I'm trying to figure out, let me pull it up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just trying to figure out how I want to accomplish this. Here we go. So we've got a radius here, and then we got a radius here. And it's 10 inches, and that's a 5-inch radius. And then I would imagine there's a tangent there. So here's the crosshairs, or the center line. Z-axis there, I guess X-axis along here. So let me put a 10-inch radius on that Z-axis. Arc, here we go. Center, we'll put it there. And I'm going to go ahead and type 10. enter. And then it's going to want some points here. So start here, swing it over and in there. Okay, we got our 10-inch radius, and that's got degrees of freedom to move up and down that Z line, which is fine. That's what we want. Now I want to put a 5-inch radius over here along this x-axis. Okay, I'm going to right click because I'm not 100% sure I tagged that line. Right click to get out of it. So I want to make sure I'm on that line. That's important. There you go. And we know that is 5 inches. Typed in 5, hit enter, and then I'm just going to put 0.1 there, swing it around to here. If I give this and this a tangent, it may lock it in place. So let me go, I'm going to go to that point and this point, the tangent the endpoints, and see if that works. No, let me drag it down. No, that's not the effect I wanted. So go up here and back out of that, back out. All right. Look at this a little closer. It appears it's tangency. So let me grab, instead of the endpoints, let me grab the edge here and this edge here and then do the tangency. Okay. I just got to bring that point around and their tangent. So we gotta, what we should be able to do now that they're tangent, just lock the two endpoints together, that endpoint to that endpoint, and I will make that constrained coincident. There we go. Okay, now I could just draw a half or a quarter of this and flip it around. That would give us less work. So let's try that. What the heck? It's something new. I'm going to raise our level of expertise, I should say. So I'm going to pull that down, and I want that line right there. Yeah, I'm going to lock that point onto the x-axis. So grab the point, grab this line here and make it coincident. Okay, that's good. And I can pull this one around to here, lock it on that point. Yeah. So grab that point, grab this vertical, coincident. Wow. Okay, now all we got to do is just draw that. Draw some straight lines here from point to origin to another point, and I think we're good. That might even lock it all in. So grab that point, go to the origin, go over here to this point. Now it's showing I have degrees of freedom. I think it might be this. Let me see. Think about this. So if that's tangent, there's a radius. It seems like this radius point needs a dimension from here to here. Yeah, okay. And I'm just going to accept that dimension because by locking all, look at that, it's all starting to fall into place. By locking it together with endpoints on on the X and the Y axis, and then performing a constraint here, we use less dimensions. So now this line segment, I think we just have to give that a length. Grab that, and that over constrains it. So I'm going to cancel that. Let me try this one. Okay, that's what it needed right there. All right, we're done. We'll close it. Go back. I want to pad it. And let me see what the thickness is. The thickness in the sketch is 3/4. So 0.75 is what I'll type. Hit enter, and there we go. Alright, now we're going to use some functions that we learned about in previous video, and we're going to use the mirror command here. Or we could use a linear pattern, we could use a polar pattern. Actually, a polar pattern really would not be a bad idea. Or would it? Because if we swing that piece around, no, it wouldn't match up very well. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'll select the top and do a polar, right, and then we want 4 occurrences, 3, 4, and see how that comes out. So I'm going to cancel that. And what we'll do, we'll mirror and mirror. So we'll hit the top, that's the active body, hit mirror, and we'll select a plane here. I'm just going to use the, let's go with the base plane. I want to use this plane right here, the YZ plane. Select the Y, there you go, YZ plane. Hit OK. Transform result has multiple solids. Keeping the first 5 times. Okay. Alright, just in case there's any issues with memory, the buffer, I'm going to do a refresh. Nope, it doesn't require a refresh. Okay, good. Let's try that again, because it should have worked. It's an active body. It is selected. Hit mirror. Select mirror. Now I should be able to mirror it. Yeah, along that YZ plane. Let me try that again. Oh, okay. This, the red part here, the additive part, does not intersect with the original body, so it won't allow me to do that. So if I hit OK, it's going to fail. I was hoping we could do that. That's disappointing. But it's all trial and error. So let's go back to the mirrored right there. I'm going to delete it. Yeah. Select that mirrored one up there. I'm going to delete that one as well. Now I'm back to just the pad. I'm going to open up the tree for the pad, double click on the sketch, and I thought I was going to be able to get away with something, but now I realize I cannot. So these lines here I'm going to delete, and then we got to duplicate this. So let me delete that. Let me delete that. This point here, I'm going to remove that. Select it. It's constrained to that line there. I'm going to remove it and remove this constraint here. Remove that. So now this can swing around and that can swing around. Alright, here we go. I should have done this from the beginning, but it's all part of learning. select those two and make them vertically constrained. There you go. So that no matter how you change the radius, those 2 points will always be in a line with each other, and we have to do the same with this one and this one. This point, that point. Oh, it didn't like that one. So let me go subtract, get rid of this error screen. Alright, I'm going to take this arc here and I'm just going to do a mirror of it. Symmetry. See if that works. Symmetry. I'll select the Z line and there we go. I'm going to these are not locked in. Like these points here should be in line with each other like these. So when you mirror something over or copy, it loses its original constraints. That doesn't copy over. So let me go ahead and align those 2 points. There we go. And then let's give it a radius. Select it, give it a radius of we don't want that. We want our radius, not, come on. Oh, you know what? Right click, I see it right there. The radius did come over. That's good. Okay, good. Good, we already have the radius. All right. Bring that to there. All right, let's try that. Make that line and that line tangent, which they are now tangent. And we just need to bring the points together. So I'll select that point, coincident. Those are locked together. Now we need another radius. Oh. We need to make this point attached to the the x-axis. So I'll select that point, select the x-axis, coincident, and there we go. So then this piece is all we need. You know, we could mirror this, but I think I know what I want to do. I think I'm just going to go do a 3-point. So I can grab the 2 endpoints. There you go, that's locked in. Now I just need something like that. If I just select it there, right click to get out and give that a radius of 10. I've got it selected. That. Give it a radius of 10. It should be exactly what we're looking for. Now we just got to figure out what this 1 degree of freedom is. It shows the arcs. All right. I've just got to study this for a minute. All right, what are we missing? Grab that. What's happening there? It's not the radius. Maybe all right, let me stop that. Let me grab this one. All right, so they got to get locked together. I'm seeing these 2 points right here, that point to that point. They're sliding as I move this around. So that has the freedom that we need to lock down. Okay. Right there. It's tangent. But if I lock these in with tangency, yep, redundant. Right click, get out of that. No, get out of that. What do I want to do? I've got to locate these somewhere. And we have All right, let me go back and see what I have to do, what the dimensions are between those 2 points. See if I can determine that. Well, no wonder my videos are always so long, but there's always something to learn in there if you just take the time with it. Okay, I'm going to close it out and we'll give it a thickness of, it already has its thickness because we went back. We gave it a thickness earlier, then we went back and modified the sketch. Okay, so the top is done. I want to move on to the support, and then we'll do the legs. So the support, you see the top is green, so that's the active body. I need to right click here and make that the active body. There we go. Sketch. The support's going to be in the same plane as the seat, which is in, so it's on the top, it's on the XY plane. So I'm going to double click that. There we go. I'm going to use this command up here to get rid of that stool seat. All right, accident there, sorry. Use that to bring it back. I'm going to undo that because what I'm going to do is go to the model and I'm going to select on the top and then hit the space bar, and it's just going to make it get out of my way. So now I can work on this sketch here. Alright, I'm going to start off with a construction line just to kind of get me in the ballpark. That support piece overall is 7 by 7. Alright, so I want to do a centered rectangle. Hit the center there. And you see the box is highlighted there. I'm going to just type 7, hit enter, and it should go to the next box. 7, enter. There we go. But what I want to do, select it. I'm just going to make that a construction line because that's where I need to be as I put the slots in here and all this. Now, my plan when I started off this video is I was going to build a quarter of it and then use the mirror command, because I am trying to use commands in the parts workbench, which is recommended by FreeCAD, to minimize what you would do in the sketcher bench. So that's just my mindset. I'm just trying to get there and try to help you get there too. But for some reason when I did the mirror, because the faces or the sides weren't intersecting, it didn't recognize it as the same body. So that's something I need to work on, and hopefully I can figure it out. Alright, so that's the overall outline of the piece we're trying to make. Now let me get into the details of it here. What we have to do now is build a slot. The slot's going to come in aligned diagonally from here to here and here to here. So another construction line might help me. Let me see. Put it in construction mode, line, go point to point, point to point. We'll do it here. Point to point. All right, and then okay. The slot is 3/4 wide. All right, so let me try something here. I'm going to use this command here. I took it out of construction mode. I'm going to use this. Polyline. I'll zoom in. I'm going to make a slot. We know that has to be there. Alright, I'm purposely exaggerating it here because I'm going to do some things with it. Alright, we want these two lines to be parallel. I need to make it parallel to here and then parallel to there. There you go. To there. Hit parallel. Then make this line to that line parallel. Okay? Now we want this line to be perpendicular. There we go. Now we just need to give it the slot some dimensions. I know that, alright, from this point to this point should be 3/4, 0.75. Alright, right click, I'm going to see what kind of degrees of freedom. Yeah, okay, see. Got it. And that depth there. Alright. Use a little bit of trickery here. Okay. So there's supposed to be a line coming down here. It's 2 inches. So what I could do, and it's supposed to intersect with this, so I'm going to go from, yeah, 2 inches. No, it's not going to intersect with that. You'll see what I'm doing. Put this line here. Just come down, hit that. Alright, and we want that 2 inches long. Select it again. Type it 2. And then I want it to be 3.5 inches over from the center here. And I want to do the same thing over here, down at the bottom. Just going to put a line in here. There we go. Come over here. I'm going to make that 2 inches long. 2. And that also is going to be 3.5 inches off of this origin. 3.5. Alright, and then I should be able to draw my line from here to here. Alright, now I'm going to use this command to trim, 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 trim. Invalid solution for dogleg solver. Okay, I'm going to close that out. Alright. So I lost my lines here. I'm going to go back and see what happened. No, I'm not. Yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier, that when you start using your trim commands or within the sketcher, sometimes you lose dimensional information. But as long as you don't touch it or move it around, you should be able to rebuild it. And as I get more advanced on that, I'll learn more about it. Okay, so that's what we want right there. Alright, so let me put some dimensions on it. This and this. To be perpendicular. I want this line to this line to be parallel. Task. I want to give this line length here, 3/4, 0.75, accept that. Okay, I gotta figure out a way to lock this slot in. Right now I'm going to delete some of my construction lines. I really don't need them anymore. We got a length on that. Let's go ahead and put a length on this. Hit OK. And I'm going to make this length and this length equal. And then from there, we should be able to lock these points in here. There to there. Or give it an angle. Give it an angle or dimension it. I'll dimension it 2 ways. Dimension it this way. Accept it. And then point to point. Accept that one. It's 1/2 inch. And then we'll do the same here. Maybe that'll lock it in. It says 1 degree of freedom. Let me select that and see what lines it is. Lines 2, 6, 7, 8. So line 2 is, you can see it turn blue on the screen there. Line 6 there. Line 7. Line 8. Okay. 1 degree of freedom. Alright, let me try dimensioning here to here. Over constrained. Right click. Go out of that. Okay, when I did that over constrained, it removed one of my dimensions from here to here. I think what I'm going to do is, now I should be able to put a dimension here to here. Let's see what happens there. Here to there. Yeah. Okay. You know, actually I can get rid of that. Delete it, and if I make see, that's off there. That's not parallel. But anyhow, I'm going to try to make this line and this line parallel. Now I'm going to start grabbing components, moving around, and see where the degree of freedom is. Let me hit that one more time. It's still giving me the same information. All right. Oh, it's the angle. That's where the issue is. All right, so I should be able to set this reference to our XY line, and that should be, I can make that 45. 45, hit enter. Okay, it's fully constrained. All right, now I'm going to take all of this and I'm just going to use the mirror command. Select mirror, delete the original, no, create symmetry constraints, yes, and I'm going to mirror along the y-axis first. Close that, double click the sketch, and symmetry constraint. says I need to remove constraint number 27 if you read the error panel down here. So let me go find constraint 27. There it is there. Uncheck it. Check it. I'm just going to double click it. I don't see it coming up. 13, 19. Alright, so with that selected, I'm going to hit the delete key on my board. Come on. Something happened. That was weird. Let me undo that. Let me close this out. It says it's fully constrained, under constraint now. Let me go back. Okay. And then I'm going to go to constraint 27. And I'm going to hit the delete key on my board. Okay. I can accept that. Alright, now it's just 2 degrees of freedom. Select that. It's not showing me what lines it is though. Alright, I'm going to keep mirroring. This time I'm going to mirror this one along the x-axis to flip it up. Create symmetry constraints, yep. Don't want to delete any of the original geometries. And we'll select this line. Now it's over constrained, but it's letting me know that 38 and 52 appear to be the issues. So 38, go there and see, okay, yeah, 38, hit that, I'm going to hit my delete key. Now it's showing 51, go down to 51. 51 shown, and I'll hit my delete key. Now it's under constrained, yet it's showing everything green. Alright, 6 degrees of freedom. This is a lot of computation. So I'm going to go out of the sketcher and then come back in, give it a chance to refresh, close it out. You can see the X there. I'm going to try a refresh. There you go, refresh, but it's grayed out, so we don't need to do that. All right, I'm going to double click on the sketch, get back in. All right. Where are my issues? If I delete that constraint number 1, what happens? Nope. Go back. Okay, everything's highlighted green, so I'm just going to start grabbing lines and move things around. Okay. Yep. That makes sense now. That makes sense. These lines are not here to here. There you go. So where they crossed over these origin lines, they're likely, see, they're locked together now, but these two lines are probably not locked together. This one might be, yeah, but this one probably is not. So I need to make this point and this point coincident, and it may have happened up here also, no, or here. Yep, there you go. So this point and that point coincident, and it's fully constrained. Oh my goodness. What a workout. But we finally got it. Let me close it. Shape. Let me look at the top up here. It looks like everything's in line with each other. Alright, that was quite an effort. Now we got to go to the, I'm going to turn the top back on. Got that in there. They're sharing the same plane right now. All right, we got to go do the leg. Double click it. See, this is green, so that's the active body. I want to double click it. There you go. Now that's active. And we're going to create a sketch, and we definitely want to use one of these vertical planes. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to double click this one. Or does it matter? Huh. All right. Let me cancel that for a second. I want to look at something. Model, the support. Double click the sketch. Yeah, you know, I would have been better off if these slots, if I would have put those slots along there, it would make the job of aligning the legs much easier. That's a lesson learned. Because it's easy to align with these, the origins, the datum lines here, the X, Y, Z. But I didn't think ahead. Close it. Alright, so we're going back to the leg. That, any of these vertical planes, I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to go back to the model. I'm going to select the top and hit my space bar. I'll select the support, hit my space bar. And then now I just want to focus on this leg. I'm going to pull the leg up real quick and show you, give you what we're looking at here. There it is right here. We got a grid. It's a 1-inch grid. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 14. And whatever angle you make this line here has to be parallel with this line here, so that when you rotate it up and make it flush with the bottom of the stool top, this will be flush to the ground in theory. Okay. All right, so we're working with a 4 by 14 1-inch grid. So I'm going to get a 4 by 4 rectangle and make some assumptions on my leg. I'll need these two straight segments. They both look like that could be a 1/2 inch across the top. This could be 3/4 of an inch. And then I build my own arc from there. And then I'll set some points here too. All right, 14 by 4. Yeah, we can do that. No harm there. All right, got that. 4 inches. Type in 4, hit enter, and then we're 14. So that's where we want to build the leg. All right, put it back in mode. I'm gonna put my point here. Come over. Make it parallel. Do that again. Go from there down to here. Okay, right click to get out of that. And I said this was about a 1/2 inch across the top. 0.5. And then 3/4 on this one here. Select that off to the side, 0.75. All right. Now let me go back and see if I can find the other point. What I want to do, I know that a line comes down at some angle from here. Not sure what angle that is yet, but right now I'm just going to put it right there. And let's go see if we can lock that end point in. Oh, sorry. So the length of the line, it's actually I'm going to go 1 3/4 down from the top, and then I'm going to come 1/4 over, 3/8 over. Yeah, 369, 3/8, less than 3/8. Nope, 1/4. All right, so 1 3/4 down, and then 1/4 over from the right. So from here to here in a vertical, I want 1 3/4, 1.75, and enter. Pull that over, and then yeah, 1 3/4 down, and then 1/4 over from this edge to here. So it's 2 inches. No, it's 4 inches overall. So it's going to be from this point. I want to reference from this point over, which would be 3 3/4. So this point to there. This is going to be horizontal, and I want 3.75. There we go. All right, so we got the straight segments there. Let me see what we can do down here. Line down, parallel, and then we lock in the endpoints. All right. I know we want the endpoint to touch this line and come up here. All right, now let's start giving it some dimensions. I'm going to go quarter-inch horizontal, maybe 5/8 up. So again, using this point here as a reference to there, I want a horizontal of 0.25. And then I wanted 5/8 up from here. So really it's, because I'm going to erase these construction lines, I'm going to pick a reference point from here to here, give it a dimension, and I know that it's overall minus 5/8. The overall is 14 minus 5/8, so that's going to leave me with 13 3/8, so 13.375. Hit enter on that. All right, and then we want these two lines to be parallel, and then maybe that'll lock this in. Parallel. The problem is I need to lock that point in there because I need to erase these construction lines. All right, let's go ahead and look at how we're going to do the curvatures. That is not really like an arc of, it's not a perfect arc. It's asymmetrical, which means we would have to use a polyline to shape that, and the same here. But it appears we have two lines coming off there that are perpendicular to that line. So let me start with that. So I'm going to draw a line from this point. I'm just going to go up about like that. And then I'm going to draw another one from that point up like that. All right, and we just want them set perpendicular to this line here. And want this one set perpendicular. There you go. All right. So we're just going to go like that. We're going to come over. Looks like from left to right, that polyline goes about halfway over and then comes in tangent to that. The polylines, when you want to shape them, you want to start off with fewer points as you can. So I'm going to start with 3 points, and then I may add a point. Now if I go 3 points, then that's going to give me a perfect arc. So I'm going to go with 4 points. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, here we go with select the, we don't want a B-spline that is a closed loop. We want a B-spline that's open end to end. So let's do that. And again, 4 points. I'll go 1, 2, 3, and go 4 on that end there. And then I'm going to right click to get out of it. All right, from there, we can start to shape it. I know that I want the end of this tangent with this line to make a really good transition. So let's see if we can make that happen. Select that, this line, tangent, see, nope, that's not going to work. All right, because it's not a curve. Wrong selection. All right. All right, so we got various points to work with. We want this line to be close to, it's 2 inches over. So let me start shaping it. I can use this point, but I think we should be using these. All right. There you go. I want this line to come out. There you go, look at that. It locked in tangency. See that? Right there. You can see it just locked right in, and that's exactly what I want. Right there. At least now I got some tangency. Let me see if I need to do that with this. No, I can't do it with that. All right, that's fine. That's fine. It gives us something to work with. Pull this one back. Okay, it's pretty close to that line. All right, now this stuff right here, there's a way to turn that off. All right, these are the degrees. I can turn them off. Let me try something different. Okay, these little points here, you can remove that. But I don't care about that one. I'm trying to get rid of those, all that green curvature comb. That's it. There you go. So come up here to turn your curvature comb off, and that will be less distraction for you. So there, the curve is about halfway over from left to right, which is what we want. And we want more of the top portion to be, I'm sorry, I'm here. We want more of the middle portion to be on that line. So we want to move this curvature up to here. Now it's not looking too good. Now we wanted this touching around the middle, halfway up. That's about right. That's about right. I probably should have just left it alone. I use these points. What happens here? Okay, I see. All right. So use this. Drag points, that works better. And pull everything over. It looks fairly smooth. I'm going to go ahead and kind of use that. And then we're going to draw this other one in up here. All right, now this one has to go from here down to here. So we'll do that again. We'll use the 4-point method there. Got 1, 2, 3, and lock it there. And then right click to get out of it. Now this curvature, I remember having to, come on. It's not a movable point. Doesn't make sense. Not a movable point. Okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, the ID name. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to try it again. I don't know what I did wrong there. Select that. I'm just going to start from this point down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right click to get out of it. That might be good enough, but I don't know why it's not letting me drag it. Close it. Close it. I might be pretty close. Okay, there you go. Now it's letting me drag. Trace back. I think it has something to do with the calculations it does in the computer. You see there's some lag time there. So usually that means you should probably close out of FreeCAD and then open it back up to refresh the memory. Let me try that. I want to save it for sure. Open it back up. Open file, and okay, I'm not seeing it, but I know it starts with an M. I'll type an M down here. I should be able to find it. And there it is. Open. Model. Let me double click on the leg. I want to make that active body. Double click the sketch. Go back in. Let's see if maybe, yeah, see, that's what it was. See, when you start using these splines, it really puts a burden on the memory in your computer. And if you get stuck like that, like I just did, and you get errors and you're using the spline, you're probably going to have to give your computer a break there. Let it take a breath, because it's doing all that computation for these points. All right, we said the upper part of the curve we wanted close to this line here, so I'm going to see if I can pull that over. I'm noticing something here, how it locks in. Like, for instance, it's locked on right there. I think it has something to do with the calculations. That's probably the optimal place to put it. So here you go. I'm going to push down on that. See how there was a delay. It moves pretty good, but then when I get to a certain point, it just locks in. Boom, right there. Then I can go past that. So where it locks in must be the optimal point. But I know I want to bring that. There you go, it locked in again. I think it's just trying to give you a smoother. There you go. There's another one. It locked in. Locked in there. See if we can lock there. Lock there. I kind of like it. Let me pull it up. I'm focusing on that straight line at the bottom there. I want a really good transition off of that line at the very bottom of the screen. Okay. It's got kind of a curvature here. I don't know, I think we're kind of close enough, but I don't like that hump right there. It's very, this might be smoother. And I can adjust this point up and down. You can see how it's affecting the line. Raise that up a little higher. And I'm going to take this one up a little higher. There you go. That one kind of locked in right there. It looks a little funny here. It's not perfect. But I think what we're going to do is accept that. The important thing is that you get this surface B and the surface A parallel to each other. And these legs, you can almost make from surface A to surface B, you can make these legs look like anything you want. I was just trying to get it close. All right. All right, I'm not going to mess with it too much more. I'm going to remove, delete the construction lines. Really don't need those anymore. Delete. Looks like I got another construction line there underneath that dimension. Pull that dimension over this way. There you go. And it reveals the construction line. Select it. Try that again. Select it and delete it. Okay. Now this is where I mentioned in another video that when you're using the B-spline, you're going to get, you're going to have many dimensions of freedom here in the upper left under constrained. And I haven't figured out a way to just lock this whole sketch down so it doesn't move. I'm still kind of working on that. You can come in here and individually put dimensions on all these points, but it's going to take a long time. I mean, I've taken a long enough time already to explain this. I can only imagine the people that are already going to just drop off if I try to do that. So I'm not going to do that. All right, let me close out. We'll pad the leg. And the leg is 3/4. So over here, 0.75 in the upper left, select that. All right, there we go. We got our leg. I'm going to turn the top back on here in the upper left, turn the top on, and I'm going to turn our support back on. Collapse everything, collapse everything. Okay. We have to rotate this leg around. I'm going to move it out of the way real quick and then show you. Let me start moving some things around. For instance, the top I want to leave that there because that's laying right on the origin. If I turn the origin on up here, that might help. See? So what I want to do is get the that support piece that we built. I want to bring that down. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to right click it and I want to transform it. And up here, I'm just going to type 10 inches. And then I'm just going to drag it down. There you go. Just to get it out of the way. Hit OK. Hit this up here. So you can see where that support is now. 10 inches down. this leg here, type front here, leg, right click leg, transform. I'm gonna pull that over 10 inches as well. 10 inches. Okay. All right, so we got the pieces out there. Now let's work on this. I'm going to rotate the top in this piece 45 degrees. It'll just be easier, I think, for putting the legs under there, but that's really not true, because when we transform, we can set this leg for 45 degrees, get it in position, and then we can do 90 after that. Yeah, put it in 45 increments and it'll swing around and land where it needs to land. So I'm going to leave it alone. All right. So what I want to do is get this top right here, that piece right there. See that? I want to get that flush to that piece right there. So how do we do it? I'm going to use, I could use Assembly, but I'm so used to doing static models this way. I'll show you. I'm going to grab this surface and then this surface up here and then just get a dimension on it, and we're just going to set it to that dimension. So here's my dimension piece up here. Select that surface, use the dimension. It's giving me an area, but now if I spin up, and now that that dimension box over here is activated, when I select this surface, there you go. Now it's giving me more information. You can see it right there on the screen. That Z dimension is what we're after, and Z of 9.61. So we want to move this support up 9.61 inches. All right, 9.61. Oh, look, and here's the results right here. So what I can do is go in here, double click it, swipe it over. I'm going to do Control C on my keyboard to copy that. I'm going to hit OK or close it. And support, I'm going to select that, right click, transform, and up here I'm going to Control V to paste it, and then I should be able to move that object till it's flush to the bottom of that table. Hit OK, come out of there, and there we go. All right. That's what we want. Now we want to get this leg inserted in one of these slots here, okay? But one of the first things I want to do is get this line right here in line with the x-axis. How I'm going to do that is figure out what that angle is, select it, come up here to this measurement, select that. It's giving me a length. I may be able to come over here and select angle. See that in the upper left? Angle. I'll try that again. All right, let me close that. Turn the tool on, then select the line. It gives me a length. I'm going to right click, no, I'm going to hit Control key and select yeah, okay. Close it. All right, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this piece flush to the bottom of that piece there. So maybe it'll give me angles. I don't know. Let's try it. I'm going to select that surface. I'm going to select this command up here to give me information on it. Then I'm going to just swing around here and select that face. And it's showing it as 151 degrees point 7. So this front, here we go. This angle here, 151. All right, so there's 0, there's 90. All right, try this again. I'm going to select this command and show data auto mode. I'm going to select this line, and then I'm going to hold down the control key and select the X. Not getting any information there. I'm going to close that. I'm going to try it again. Select that. This time I'm going to grab the bottom of that stool seat, swing over here, hold down control key, grab that surface there. It's 151 degrees, 70. So so if I use reference angle, or I use 180 minus 151.7, let me do that. I am going to, there you go, Control C. I'm going to copy that information, close, take the leg, right click, transform, Control V, put 151, and then I'm going to see what it does when I swing it around. I mean, I think I'm about 30 degrees off, but I'm just curious right now. If I swing it up, what's going to happen? If I swing it down, it's level there. I could mirror it. Put it back up. Okay, what I'm going to do is go up here in the upper left. I'm going to do some math here. I think it's a 180. Come on, let me type it. 180, number 180. 151.70. 180. It's not letting me do it. Okay, 180 minus 151.7. And that should, if I swing it up, there you go. Okay, front, there you go, look at that. All right, so now we just need to get that down flush with this X here. So I'm going to select this line, hit this tool up here to give me some dimensions, and then I'm going to select, hold down control key, select X, and it wants another surface. It won't work off of the reference lines, XYZ reference lines, so I want to go from face to face, see what that does. Alright, let me go up here. Alright, so what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get it down to here. So I want that face, zoom in a little bit, close this, select it again. I want that face flush with that face. Hold down Control key, select it, and give me a dimension. Oh, because it's, see the mode up here, it's set to angle, and so it's 180 degrees. That makes sense. I want auto, or let's go with position. All right, I want to reset it. Close it, close it, close it, close it. Come on, Billy. Let's do this again. Face, face. All right, I selected that face, but I have to hold down the Control key and select this. So now both faces are selected. Hit that tool. Radius area. I want auto. Auto. Reset to auto. Reset to auto. Try it again. Select that face. Hold down Control key. Select that face. And I'm to angle. All right, I'm going to close out. I think the computation is messing it up again. Let's see if I can do a refresh. No, it doesn't require that. We'll try it again. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to have to turn the computer off, turn it back on. This time I'm going to use the lines instead of the face. So there, that line, hold down the Control key and select that line. Hit that, and there we go. That's all I wanted. All I wanted was the dimension on the Z. Was it that hard? Really? So from that surface down to that line in the Z direction, it is 5.52. So 5.52 is where we want to bring the leg down. Close that. So select leg, right click, transform, and up here 5.52. Hit front over here, and it's not going to let me drag it down. Okay, hey there, I'm interrupting this tutorial because maneuvering that leg around ended up being a little more difficult, because this is where Assembly Workbench would have been perfect. But it's good that we ran into this. I'll explain. So when we use the transform command to angle the leg, we threw it out of alignment with the global coordinate system, I guess is the term for it, I think. I don't know what FreeCAD calls it, but that's what I'll call it for now. The global coordinate system, the true XYZ of the 3D model. So the individual leg was created with a sketch that was on a vertical plane, and then when we transformed it, the coordinate system moved with the leg. So now when I tried to bring the top surface of that leg to flush mount it underneath of the stool, the top, the lid, the cover, whatever we should call it, I don't know. But at the time when I was doing the video, I don't have a lot of experience with using the two coordinate systems, because everything I did always aligned. It didn't go out of alignment with the global system. So, and taking a break, even 2 days later, because I ran out of time and there's got so many other things I'm working on, I'm back, and let's go ahead and finish this up. I'll pull up FreeCAD and I'll show you what I've found in the two coordinate systems, and then we'll go from there. Hey, on a good note, the video is shorter than my last video, I think. I'll find that out when I edit it. Thank you. All right, so let me see. I've got the global system up, and if you're trying to keep up with me here, how I did that was I went up here to the top on the upper left. It's labeled top. I expanded that down, and then I turned the origin on. You can turn it off and on right there with that eye. You probably should know that by now. But anyhow, that's what I did. So to show you what I mean about the two coordinate systems, I'll select that leg here. I'll right click and hit transform. And you can see these arrows going off in different directions from the x-axis here. Like red is x, there's the x there on the local coordinate system, blue being the z, that's the z for the leg itself. So with these misaligned, it just proposes another problem. Again, this is where I've got to learn the assembly bench, and that assembly bench, I believe, works on the local and the global coordinate system in the background. You're just selecting surfaces and edges, and I guess they're called wires, and it computes the coordinates for you. It does the math for you so you can move the objects around. So what I'm doing, it's a little more difficult, but let's go from here. Okay, so we got this flush to the table, and how I did that, let me turn transform, cancel that. When I left the video, I believe this leg was up higher, and I needed to bring it down in this z-axis. So let me select the leg over here. I'm going to go down to placement here, go to the position, and these you can see the numbers here, negative 5.52. Now let me go up with that. You can see the leg moving up. Right, you can see it moving up. So I'm going to put it on front. So it was negative 5.52. So instead of using transform, I'm using the global coordinate system for the model through the data tab over here. And another way that you can do it is to select it, right click, and use placement. And you could do that here. You can see the leg moving up and down. And this is another tutorial here to use this placement. I can't really go into it right now. I don't want to. So I just wanted to, once I got into that, got my back against the wall, couldn't figure it out on the spot, I had to just take a break and come back to it. So now let's go ahead and cancel that, and I'm just going to continue using the data tab down here, and this was negative 5.52, I believe. I'll tell you what, in case I type something wrong, I'm just going to arrow it down. It should get me there, back to where I was. There you go. Okay. All right, so now what I can do is slide this item over into that slot. And in order to do that, the leg, let me see if I can, the leg is going to have to align on one of these axes in order for me to do that. So what I'm going to do is take this piece here and the top and rotate it around 45 degrees with the leg. All right, let's do that. So I got the top, I got the leg here, control key down, and that support pad underneath. Let's see if we can rotate that. Using the global, I don't want to use the transform. Or you know what? A better way is rotate that leg. No. I gotta bring it in a certain distance, so I'm gonna have to do it all together. Let me go back to doing that. Top, leg, and support. I held the control key down. Now I'm gonna go to axis, and we want to rotate it around the Z axis. So there, you have X, Y, and Z axis. If there's a number in any of these, then it'll use that axis to rotate it. If you had a number in the Z and a number in the X, it'll rotate it between the two and give you a really weird rotation out of plane. So let me see if that, let me see if we can do this here. It's 45. I go up. Okay. All right. Let me see what happened there. Try that again. Oh, look at that. The planes and everything are rotating. Bring that back around to 45. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, that didn't work. I am going to back out of this, get us back to where we were. There you go, we're flush there. And now I'm going to use transform on the top and this piece. So let me, the support. So let me try the support first. Transform. It's set to 45 up here in the upper left. So I should be able to just transform that around 45. There we go. Okay. Now let me select that top, right click, transform, it's set to 45, so yeah. As long as I do it on the horizontal plane, it really doesn't matter what direction I swing it in. So pull it over there. There we go. Okay. Now we have to get this leg rotated around to 45. Now let me see if I can pull that off. Select the leg. Alright. Alright, here you go. Select the leg. And using the axis Z. See, right now the Y is -1, but now I'm going to give axis Z a 1. Alright, that's not right. Set that to 0. Put that back to -1. Put this axis to 0. And now let me try the X and see what happens there. If I put a 1 there. And it's starting to move around the X. Okay. what am I going to do? Let me see. Leg, right click and transform. How could I get this corrected? All right, go 22. That might work. Sorry, I'm being cryptic here. The support, transform that at 22.5. Pull that around. Alright, and then oh, it was just 45 that I needed to spin it. Alright, so I'm going to hit OK there, and I'm going to go to the tabletop, and I'm going to transform that one 22.5. I'll pull that around as well. 1, 2, 45. Okay. All right. I'm really pretty much back to where I started. So let me see if I can move that leg around using placement. We'll see what happens here. Leg, right click, I'm going to go to placement, and that center is 0, 0, 0. How can I rotate that? All right, let me look at something here. See what happens as I move this around. So we know that the Z is up and down, so the X and Y is, I should be able to, okay, I got that. Okay, that's it right there, that X axis. All right, I'm going to hit OK with that. And I'm going to try to get some measurements and see if we can fix some things here. So I'm just going to go with this line right, this face and this line right here. But first I'm going to hit that face, select the measurement tool, then select the line. I want a distance, there you go. Went up there and selected distance, and it is 0.38 inches over to get it there. Get it there. All right. Close it. Right click, go to placement. Try that Y again. That doesn't look right because it, no. Cancel that. The leg. There you go, the leg. Make sure that's an active. Right click it again, go to placement. There you go, that's the information that we changed. So we need to go negative, right there, negative 0.38. Actually, it should have been positive, so I'm going to go 0.38. All right, look at that. That gets us there. Now we just need to know the distance from there to slide it. Now, as I'm moving this around, it appears to be using a local coordinate system. It's really strange to me because I moved it in the X direction, but then this slid in the Y direction here. So again, this is something I really need to get up to speed on using Assembly. All right, but we'll go ahead and hit OK there, and we're going to get a dimension from that line. I'm going to select Measurement Tool, and I'm just going to select this face. It's giving me 90. Okay. Go up here and select Distance, and yeah, it's giving me 1.71. All right, 1.71. Close that. Right click the leg, go to placement, and yeah, back. All right, so it's 1.71 plus that 8. Or I can come down here and hit apply incremental changes, and when I do that, I think it resets everything to 0, and then it'll move it from there over 1.71. But I don't want to take a chance. Let me go ahead and try 8 plus 1.71. Backspace. Maybe it's minus 1.71. There we go. Minus. Okay. There. It is now in that slot. A lot of trial and error and luck here. Now with any more luck, I should be able to copy that leg, make clones of it, that is, and then rotate it around that Z-axis, and we'll see if that works out good or not. So I'm going to select this here. All right, and my cat, my Bengal Max, he's up here. He wants me to. I just fed him, but he's complaining. He wants something. All right, so let's do this. Let's, what do we do here? I'm going to turn the origins. I'm going to leave the origins on because it's a good reference right now. Actually, just out of curiosity, I'm going to turn the origin off there and turn the origin on for the leg, and see how that gave me the local coordinate. But now I'm going to expand that. Huh. Front. Yeah, so that coordinate system goes with that leg. Those are the planes you turn on and off. And then if I turn the coordinate system on for this object, We got two coordinate systems. Yet when I moved this leg over, it moved over on, let me see what it looks like down here. All right. So the X direction is this way. The X for that one is not, probably because we spun it around. Huh. That's what it was. I rotated it around to get it in line with the leg. I'm going to figure this out and try to do a tutorial on it because I think it's important. Because I think it's important to learn these planes, local coordinate systems, at least have a good understanding of it before I move on to using the Assembly's Workbench. Otherwise, the Assembly Workbench is doing all the math for me, and I don't have a good understanding of what it's doing or why it's doing it. So I want to dive into this first and then move on. All right, I'm rambling. I'll probably cut this part out of the video. Let me go ahead and copy the legs. Let me turn the origins off. Top origin. Turn that back on. The Z is the same. The Z there. That had to have been an N. When I rotated that top around, I rotated it off axis with this. So this is the global, and this origin here is the local for that particular body. So this pad right here, that got flipped around too. So it should have the same origin as that, the same local coordinate system. Okay. So when we do a rotate of this leg, it should use this coordinate system, which is the Z. So yeah, it should be okay. All right, I'm turning origins off. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Grab that leg. It is the active leg. See, yeah, it's checked active. All right. Now we need to copy. We need to clone it. So it won't let me clone until I select it. So there's the leg. I want 3 more legs. So 1, 2, 3. Rename it. Okay. Leg 2. Leg 3. Leg 4. All right. Okay, all these legs are occupying the same space. If you watch my previous video, you'll see that you can see the colors in there showing that there's bodies occupying the same space here. So we're going to rotate those out of there. But I wanted to check the coordinate system that it has at origin. See, now when I created the new bodies, it automatically came in and took on, let's call this the global coordinate system for the 3D model. It took that on. That's really interesting. So what that tells me is that this leg up here, the one, yeah, this one here, if I select that and turn the origin on, yep. So, you know, that's a way, actually we just learned something. That's kind of a way to get out of this situation with local coordinate system. If you want to draw your leg or whatever models you build, bring it into your 3D model and orient it in the right configuration that you want it, and then you could make a clone of it. And then when you clone it, it will accept or default to the global here, and then that gives you another way to move that leg or that part around, and it's locked into the global coordinate system instead of the local shown here on that leg. So there, yeah, just learned something on that. All right, I'm going to turn the origin off there. Turn the origin off on leg 2. All right, now let's do take leg 2, transform it, and we want it to go 90 degrees. 90, typed it in there, and we should be able to just grab it here, pull it around, 90, there we go. Hit OK. Come over here, hit leg 3, right click, transform. It's already set to 90, so we'll pull it around a couple times. Boom, it's there. And then leg 4. Leg 4, we will right click, transform it, and we'll go 90 in the other direction. And there we go, okay. Wow, yay, it's done. The only thing I haven't done is put the curvature around the top here. Let me see if that's something. Here we go. Yeah, you see that radius there? Do I want to do that? 1/4 inch radius. I'm going to go back to the top here and go to the pad. Go to the top, right click it to make it active, double click. I already copied it. Why? I'm just going to go into Edit Sketch, and I am just going to select all like that, and I'm going to do a Control C, close it, and while the top is active, I want to select it right here, do a sketch, and then I want to do a Control V and see if that sketch comes in. Control V, there you go. All right, so now what I want to do, that's the line that I want to use. Anybody? All right, how do I want to do this? Close this out. And there's sketch 3. Now I want to add another sketch. This time I want to grab one of these vertical planes. I guess I'll get this one. This one right here, the YZ, double click that. We'll go back to the model and turn those off, or at least hide them. Hide the top, hide the leg, hide the support, and all these other legs too, hide them. But I want to turn this sketch on. It's not turning on. All right, task, close out of there. All right, let me double click there. That's that one. Close it. All right, that's that sketch. Close it. All right. All right, well, I'll show you. This is what I want. I want to at least put a circle out here somewhere. And I'm going to probably put it on that line there. We know we want a 1/4 inch radius. So I'm going to select that and make it 0.5, which is diameter. That'll give me my quarter. Now I just need to go from here to here to get it right. Close. Oh, you know what? Turn that top on. That's why the sketches weren't showing up. Now I'm going to, this is a case where you got multiple sketches and pads underneath the body. If you turn the body off like I just did, everything under it turns off unless you got an active sketch, which I have here. But when I turn this on, everything else is on. Now you can come down here and individually turn things off. So I turn that off, but I want to turn that sketch on. There you go. That's what I was looking for right there. So I want, where am I here? I want this to be there. Know that it was 5 inches from here, so I got to get the dimension from there over to here so I can move this over and then up. So we wanted the dimension from here to here. All right, so I think we determined 8.75, and then we had that radius and we had overlap. So it all came down to, all right, this is what I want right here. And it was 11.25. So from this center out to the edge, it should be 11, well, half of that, half of 11.25. Half of 11.25. Back on, put that there. Close it. Go back to the sketch, and got 11.25 divided by 2. There we go. Now we just need to get that height there. 3/4 top. Okay, 3/4 top. So this should go up 3/4 of an inch. So you see that symbol there? That means I got it locked onto the Y there. So I'm going to select that and delete it on my keyboard. Now I can move this up. There you go. Can't move it left and right because we're locked in, but I can certainly move it up, and it should go to there. But anyhow, it's supposed to be from there to that line. Should be 3/4 of an inch, 0.75. Enter. Okay. Now, there. Close it. There. And I should be able to swing it all the way around. Let me turn the top, the pad back on. All right, so the body is active, the pad is on. And I gotta use, is it revolution? No. Subtractive loft, subtractive pipe. There it is. I just got to know what to select. So sweep a selected sketch along a path. So select the sketch first. That's the one I want to sweep right there. So see, it's selected. Now I should be able to select that. It says it's not linked. Add an edge. Path to sweep it on. Object. Add an edge. Oh, so I didn't even need to do that sketch. I'm just adding edges here. All right, let me cancel that. So that sketch that I did to run that along a path, I really didn't need it. But let's go ahead and continue on here. So that's the sketch I want. We close it. All right, so that sketch is now selected. I do the pipe. It's not linked to anything, right? So add an edge, and as I select edges, it should go around. Add another edge. All right. So far, so good. Add another edge. Oh, select add edge, and you see how it's highlighted purple? Then you select it. Okay. And then add an edge again. Those are the 4 edges. And when I hit OK, it should subtract that bead off the top of that plate. So hit OK, and there you go. Now that line right there, oh, that's the sketch. Sketch is turned on. So now I'll turn the sketch off. You see that right there? Sketch 3, just turn it off. Actually, we didn't even need that sketch. Turn it back on to show you that I can delete that sketch since we use the edges instead of a sketch to roll it around. Look at that. Okay, now we have routed it successfully. Close it. Up here, I'm just taking the trees and what do you call it? Collapsing the trees. Now I'm going to turn everything back on. The legs, support, legs, and there we go. I'm going to make the top. Select the top up here. Just select it, and then come down here to view and make the transparency. I don't know. Just set that to point. Wait a minute, no points at all. 25%. So I'm just going to type 25. Hit enter. There you go. Now you can see. You can see that. You can see where the end of the legs come in. You can even see that line right there where they go in and they touch. I think I'm going to make that support. I want to give that transparency too. Make that 25%. There you go. There you go. So now you can see where the legs went in. It looks like they might be, yeah, they're overhanging just a smidgen there, but I think that's the tolerance. When I moved it, it was the tolerance that did that. I'm just glad I got through it, and I'm going to learn how to use Assembly because I think it will make my life easier. But there you go. All right, now let's try to give it all some type of color that's even closely resembles wood. Can we do that? Shape, appearance, yeah, there, somewhere in this neighborhood right there. I'll go with that. And there we go. All right, the top. Did the top get colored? Come down here. No, it didn't. So I want to select this leg, any of these other ones, and just because I want to steal the color off of it. See that color number right there? Control C it just to make sure I got the right color. Come up here to the top and then go down to the appearance on the top. Go down here and then Control V, and then that gives us our color. Okay, it's not exactly a wood grain, but it's a wood color. Alright, I'll end it there. Let me put you back on. Let me give you a face-to-face here. Okay, that was a lot of work. I started the model 2 or 3 days ago. Got to a point where it wasn't working. I had to take a break. I came back. I got confused with the coordinate systems, the local. I now realize now that each body has its own local. When you create the body, it starts off with the global, which is that coordinate system shown in the lower right corner of your 3D view, or wherever you choose to move those coordinates around. That symbol, you can move it anywhere on your screen, but I leave it in the lower right hand corner. Anyhow, that is the main primary coordinate system, and each body has its own coordinate system called the LCS, local coordinate system, so that so once you start moving those parts around, the coordinate system for that body does not match the primary coordinate system anymore. Some of the axes are still the same, but there are changes. And I learned that in the creation of this leg, that if I clone it, it will, once I get that leg in position where I wanted it, I cloned it, and when I cloned it, all the clones took on the default coordinate system of the global or the primary. Then I was able to maneuver from there. So in the future, if I get stuck, I always try to do things the right way. I know I'm long-winded and I'm long about it, but that's how my brain thinks, and I learn better from it, because in the future now I've learned some things today that's going to help me going forward. But I can clone something, and I can even delete or probably just hide, that little eye on the body, turn it off, and use the clones to manipulate it around. That'd be a lot easier. Okay, this closes out the series. It's 9 of 9. Plus I had a video I did months before I started the series just to try to get started. So I am 10 videos in. It's time for me to now take all the lessons that I've learned from those 10 videos so I can get faster at it, maybe put some shorts out there on some 3D modeling, and start working on really working on making these videos much shorter. I'm going to figure that out, I promise you. They're an hour plus. So many of them out there are down to 15-20 minutes. I'll try to get into that range. I think you'll enjoy it, maybe use it better. All right, so what's next? I don't know yet. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking about starting another series still related to woodworking, but the hardware. I might pick a handful of hardware that's commonly used and model those. That gets more into mechanical. We'll see. I have some other ideas too. If you're one of those few who have actually followed me through on most of them or all of them, and you haven't, maybe you've given me a like. That's my cat again. Maybe you've given me a like and you haven't commented. I really need feedback. If you can provide that, it'll help me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna try to learn from my own lessons. I may use AI to look at my videos and try to give me some pointers on how to refine it, get better, and then go from there. I'm working on a CNC design for building guitars. I also have a guitar project that I started many years ago, never finished. I'm going to resurrect that one. My garage is a mess. I've been cleaning it up a little at a time, getting it organized so that I can. Let me close this down. There you go. That gives my face a better skin tone when I shut FreeCAD off. All right, so there's just so many things that I want to say, but I got to learn to end the videos, be precise about starting, jumping in, working them, and then a good outro, and then end it. So thank you for your support. Feedback is appreciated. It only makes me better. I have thick skin. I don't care what you say. I can learn from any comment, good, bad, indifferent. I don't care. I learn from it all. And I'll see you in the next series. I'm not sure. I might do a couple of independent videos outside of a series before I start a series. I don't know. But I'm excited. I got through the series. Thank you. Steady as she goes.